All right, time is 7:01. We'll call the meeting to order. Welcome, everyone. We will start with our roll call, please.
Adam Hudson, absent. Tammy Hines. Here. Avery Corey. Here. Greg Meyer.
Here.
Scott Middlecamp.
Here.
Lisa Schumacher.
Here. Tyson Search.
Here.
Perfect. We have a quorum. Thank you very much. Next item is our Pledge of Allegiance. If you all would stand and. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, welcome to the public. And special individual welcome to you. Preston, thank you for joining us, and thank you for everybody that's joined us through YouTube this evening. Do you have any public comments? No? All right, easy enough. We'll go on to the correspondence, and that's probably getting passed around. Is there a correspondence?
No.
No? All right. Makes that easy. Next item is our consent agenda. If everybody's had a chance to look at the minutes and the items on the consent agenda.
A couple things of note for the personnel. We did get a late resignation from Francis Asselmeyer, who is a bus monitor. So that's going to be a vacancy that we need as a bus monitor. We also got 2 extracurricular assignments, Tim Barbie and Doug Venhaus to be the track coaches. Other than that, I don't think that there's any changes really to the consent agenda. So the administration recommends the board approve the consent agenda as presented.
I have a question about the financials.
Okay?
Was your credit card charged twice for that place? It's got double charge in the report here at the convention.
I don't know, but I can look into that.
There was a credit on the expense items for, it's a double charge, I think.
Oh,
right?
yeah, it was double charged.
Double charge.
It was
So
double
on the
charged on
corrected
that, so I'll
one
look
there-
into
Two
that.
items, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I remember right.
And that was from the Chicago trip?
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions, comments, concerns?
Lisa, do you know what charges there were?
The Lumanti restaurant,
Okay.
but that's the only one I saw.
I saw 2 of them. They were in the original packet. Duplicate payment, Ace Hardware Columbia, there was a $67.96.
What page number is that?
On page 7.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a duplicate payment for Ace Hardware, and then I thought there were,
Ace Hardware would have been Kurt, Steve.
okay.
I ordered nothing from Ace. Well, not that I
Exactly.
have anything against Ace.
Oh, there was a credit, yeah, of $67.96 for a duplicate payment. So the credit, maybe the duplicate payment was the month before?
I saw 2 other duplicate payments as well.
Well, when you find them,
Okay.
let me know and I'll get Julie to run those down.
Mine's page 2, Kim.
Okay, thank you.
Page 2, you said?
Yeah, page 2.
Okay.
Okay. Any other comments, questions, concerns? With that, I'd make a motion to accept the consent agenda as stated.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Tammy, do I hear a second?
A second.
Second by Lisa. Kim, can you roll call, please?
Tammy Hines.
Yes.
Avery Corey.
Yes.
Greg Meyer.
Yes.
Scott Middlecamp.
Aye.
Lisa Schumacher.
Yes.
Tyson Search.
Yes.
Perfect. On to our communication reports and presentations. I think the enrollment report is in the packet. Any questions on that? Run right into our administrative reports, our building report. I think our special education director is joining us this evening. Welcome.
Thank you. So this year, I feel like it's going very well. I think part of that is last year, even though we were part-time and not in full-time, huge effort was made to get our kids in early as soon as possible, which kudos to teachers who said, we want our kids in, we'll figure it out. We brought 2 kids in at a time, we did this, we did that. But with that being said, they got them in pretty quick, and I think this year, it was kind of like the kids were just like, oh, we've already been doing this, we're all good, you know? So I think that helped this year just transition pretty easily for our kiddos. You know, talking to other directors, all I have to say is we are blessed in this district. There are so many school districts who cannot fully fund or staff their buildings, missing school psychs, missing speech and language pathologists. Happy to report we're all covered. So that, knock on wood, that no one leaves us, but we're doing good. So grateful for that. The other thing that I'm excited about this year that we've had to cancel for the last 2 years is our ACE Olympics. That doesn't happen until April, but I don't know if you don't know what that is. It is our version of Special Olympics for our students and also students in 4 other districts. So we have about 125 in the past student athletes who come, and the really cool part is we get our gen ed athletes involved, and it's just such a cool event. So I will keep you updated when that is going to be set for sure, but it's typically at the end of April. Love for you guys to come by and see it. It's just really, I mean, our gen ed kids get as much out of it as our other kiddos. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I've hated to cancel it for the last 2 years, but I think we're going to make it roll this year. We should be able to do that. So I had invited Chelsea to kind of highlight our high school program, and it was kind of cool timing because I was reading over the school improvement plan, and a lot of our goals is to make kids independent, help kids be lifelong learners, help students get jobs and learn how to have jobs, possibly college. She does all that at our high school level, which is kind of good timing. So I'd love her to highlight a couple of our things that we do there.
Okay. I'm Chelsea Adair. Like she said, I'm the high school transition teacher and co-op teacher. I do teach a lot of cross-categorical classes, so therefore a lot of my students are self-contained as well, and some of them are resource students. So with that, we do a lot of community skills training. We go out into the community quite a bit this year. Last year we weren't able to do any of that, so I did see a little regression in my students because they weren't able to go in the community and get that authentic experience like they had in the past. So now we're reteaching some of those skills and adding on to what we do know. And we're able to go in the community and get those authentic experiences. The community responds really well to us coming in there, into different shops, restaurants, all of that. The kids love it as well. We've also partnered with a lot of agencies in our community, such as HSS, Human Support Service, out of Waterloo. There, the students go in and they do work in a PAYS lab, which stands for Practical Assessment Exploration Program. They're learning lots of vocational and life skills. They're doing task boxes to learn those skills that they need for independent living. We also partner with the YMCA, where they get to go in and work with a program called Teamwork at the YMCA. They're there learning just new hobbies, interacting with peers. And then we also partner with MERS Goodwill. Columbia School District actually has a contract with MERS Goodwill where they'll hire 3 of our students after they've gone through a job training program. They'll hire them and pay them, I believe it's $11 an hour. And we currently have 1 student participating in that. Next semester, we're going to have 2 students participating. And what they do is they sign a contract with us. I do a lot of the training on top of some of the work that MERS Goodwill does as well. And then we get them hired on as custodial positions. They could work anywhere in our district, but right now the only interest is custodial. If there was anyone else interested, we could also train for other positions anywhere in our school district. We've also just finalized a contract with Mac Medical, and we're going to have 2 students employed at Mac Medical, getting paid through the MERS Goodwill program. But we also receive outcomes through Division of Rehabilitation Services, where we get some of our funding for our STEP program. That's about all we got going on.
We had your students working for us over the summer. correct?
Yes.
Through the custodial program.
Yes, we
through
did.
the-
We had 3 working this summer, and they were all getting paid through MERS Goodwill.
Yeah, and so that was nice. Our custodians really enjoyed it because A, we had kids learning job training skills. B, they were getting assistance unloading the rooms and everything like that. And then with the DOORS program, we get clicks for how many kids we have working. And so then next year we get the same amount of funding. And so it's
Which helps
It
fund-
really is a
yeah.
neat program that you can build on it, and I really appreciate everything you've done for building that program, so,
Right.
thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, can that be expanded like with local businesses?
Yes, it can.
Mhm.
Yes, I'm looking to partner with any local businesses that are interested in having any students. So, in my co-op work experience class is where they get the training from me, how to get a job and maintain a job. And then once we go from there, we do on-the-job training if needed. We're able to send out job coaches to train them on the position and hopefully fade out that support to where they're working independently. But yes, we're looking to work with anyone in the community for those positions.
What type of hours would they be available?
We do block off 2 hours during their school schedule, if that allows. Some classes can't be arranged, so we can't allow that. But we do require that they have a minimum of 10 hours per week. So they're able to work any Monday through Sunday, 10 hours per week. But it does have to kind of coincide with what they're doing in school. Like they can't work too many hours where it's interrupting their school learning.
Interesting. Perfect. Any other questions? Awesome. Thank you very much for that. All right, our next item is our Assistant Superintendent's report.
Sure. So, we're still doing the power standard review and helping that to build our curriculum maps. So hopefully I'll be able to start bringing you kind of some rough draft versions of where we're at with that. But I am excited. We have started now a math curriculum review committee. And so we are currently looking at what our math teachers are using in the classroom. And do we want to continue with what we're doing and just make some improvements, or do we want to find some new things, bring in some new resources? So we started the committee meeting yesterday. I had plenty of volunteers, so it's 13 teachers from across the district in K-8, and then we have an additional high school teacher that is represented so that she can make sure that she feels like it's coinciding with what's going on through the high school. And so yesterday we started building what we thought as school employees and teachers were kind of those must-haves, so we can start building those rubrics. And then today we sent out a parent survey, and I just checked before I came in, and we already have 127 responses to that parent survey. So I'm thrilled. We're going to start over break. I'm going to kind of disaggregate that information and then share that out with the committee again when we meet again in January, and build our rubrics and start evaluating some different things. I know everyone was in agreement that we need to figure out some differentiating and some ways to challenge our higher students. You know, we do a lot of great things for those struggling students in our classes, but needing to challenge our higher students is something that we really want to look at and start working at. And so that's definitely one of those key components on the rubric that we're going to start working on. So kind of our timeline as we work through this, like I said, we started before we left for break now, and then by May, I'll be able to bring to the board meeting for you what the recommendation is from the committee to kind of get your blessing as far as curriculum-wise for us to continue on with next year. And then that will allow us to start immediately providing professional development for the teachers so that they're ready to roll as soon as school starts in August. All right. Any questions about that? Sounds great though. Okay. Exciting. I say, and then the other thing I wanted to add in kind of on a personal note is I just wanted to thank you guys and appreciate the support and the understanding for me kind of missing out on, you know, our last couple of board meetings. I greatly appreciate that. Sugar, I can tell you I was worried and thinking about you guys a lot and that, but I appreciate your understanding and support. So thank you guys.
Well, thank you. Now to the big dog
On to
report.
me. I did send out a letter home today regarding this TikTok nonsense, TikTok challenge. The nation is expecting possible threats at schools. We didn't get hit too hard with the devious licks, and I think a lot of students understood the seriousness of following social media, so I'm really optimistic. However, we did meet with the police today and our administrative teams to go over our plans, make sure everything's up to date. Even though it's supposed to be children making these threats, we're going to take anything that gets said seriously and deal with it accordingly. At this time, we still don't have any threats. You know, it's just, I wanted people to know that, you know, should we have to close the school down, or, you know, the concern is if you're looking, you might have to send kids home early, you know, as you're exploring this. And so it's just an unfortunate situation that's, I guess, part of having that social media account. So that's the first thing. The second thing's the COVID update. Test to Stay is doing very, very well. I will say that we are currently struggling with if you are a close contact, you can test to stay and be at school. However, if you're at home, even if the family has multiple levels and keeps the kids away from the sick individual, like let's say that I was sick and my brother, you know, I'm sick, so I'm staying in my bedroom, my brother's on another floor, not near me at all, it's still a household person, and so you can't test to stay. You have to quarantine them or isolate them from schools. That's not the standard that the health department has, but it is the terms that the health department wants the schools to use. And so that's been somewhat of frustration. I just want to explain that if there is someone sick at your house, you can't test to stay at this point in time. I did attend a webinar with Dr. I'm going to say it wrong, but I believe it's pronounced Zicki. She's the IDPH director. And she sounded like mid-January changes were happening, which part of my brain said, well, that's right, getting ready for the primaries. However, it's also after the cold and flu season and whatnot. And so she seemed like mid-January might be some changes. They want to see how it goes through the holiday seasons. She did reference a few times the boss. And when she was referring to the boss, she was talking about the governor, who is, from her stance, is calling a lot of the shots. So politics will probably change things, but right now we are still dealing with the COVID situation. That brings me to the lawsuit. Judge Raylene Grishow is hearing the case in Sangamon County. It got moved to Sangamon County when all the other school districts got added. Judge Raylene Grishow is hearing the case. They had a status report or status meeting either today or tomorrow. There's been a bunch of emails going through on filing of appearances and whatnot. As I said before, lawyers move at their own speed and state lawyers move at the speed of sludge. It is still moving, but ever so slowly. No offense to lawyers. Those are really the key things. I was hoping to be able to say, you know, we'll have a nice quick meeting and we'll do happy holidays, but there are some personnel things I want to talk about, so I do have to have a closed session today. There's no action coming out of closed session, but there is just some things I want to make sure you're up to date on with personnel that has occurred today. So, other than that, happy holidays, because our next meeting will be actually next year. So.
Any questions? To add on to your start with this TikTok challenge or whatever, it is a felony to call in a threat.
Class 3 felony, and the district attorney says that he will prosecute to the extent that he can, because it is a serious situation.
Right, so if we need to convey that to our children, I think that would help too. So it's a very serious matter. Perfect. Any other questions, comments? Oh, perfect. Move on for our items for action. The first one is to approve the public posting notice to sell our school buses.
We discussed this last year. I did not get official permission, I do not believe, to sell the school buses. I now have a GovDeals account, and I've got a webinar set up with my sales rep on how to upload the buses. Mr. Lake is getting me the sheet of information about the buses, and I'm going to go out there probably tomorrow and take some pictures so that I can upload those next week. But I need your permission to actually sell those buses on GovDeals, and so my recommendation is that you allow me to sell the 2 buses as we discussed previously.
And I did a little research myself on, there's 3 basic forms that public entities use to sell buses and assets. It's GovDeals, Public Surplus, and Purple Wave. The Purple Wave is open to everybody. The Public Surplus and GovDeals are only for municipalities. GovDeals averages 22% higher than Public Surplus does and has a larger concentration in our area. So my recommendation to Chris was to form of the gov deals. Basically, I think the prices we were gonna get was $1,000 for one and nothing on the other.
Nothing for the other.
So, the small bus average selling price is $8,500 on there, so versus nothing. However, we do have a possible head gasket issue, so that has a Duramax 6.6 liter diesel in it, which are known for bad head studs, so they put ARP head studs. We do that in our buses. So there's gonna be some repairs, so that might not be the average. We might get a little bit less, but I think it's worth going.
That was still the bus that we were gonna get 0 for.
Correct, right.
So-
So, my prediction is gonna at least get half of that, so I would think it's gonna get around 4. The others are, really, it's a great engine in it, but without air conditioning, the market is, there's a lot of them, but I think we'll do much better than 1,000 personally, so. But I think this is the most fair way to do it. It gives us the most attention and the most advertising on them, so. So, would anybody like to make a motion to list our buses for sale on GovDeals?
I'll do that.
Thank you, Tyson. For a second? Okay, Andrew. I'm sorry, any other discussion? Like I went right into the motion, so, okay, perfect. All right. A motion and a second. This isn't to spend money, so we can just do a aye, nay, abstain. So all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Perfect. Matter carries. All right, next is our approval of the early graduation for students.
And this is a yearly action item. We've got 4 that have made the standards for being able to graduate. And so the recommendation is for the board to approve the 4 students listed for early graduation.
I'll make a recommendation.
All right, perfect. A motion to approve, or second?
Second.
Tyson seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Perfect, motion carries. All right, item C is approve our horticultural production and management course for proposed 2022 to 2023.
Yeah, this would be open to juniors and seniors. It does come with SWIC credit, so it would be a dual credit class. The recommendation is that we approve it as presented so that we can see if we get enough students to sign up. We do believe that we'll have at least one section of it based on kind of our ag program and what the students are talking about, so. Questions on that one?
Hearing none, entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Scott beat you out.
He did.
All right,
He did.
Scott made the motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Lisa. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Perfect, motion carries.
Will be listed in our curriculum. Thank you.
Perfect. All right, item D is approve our intergovernmental cooperation agreement with Southwestern Illinois College involving the Running Start program and the dual credit courses for the 2022-2023 school year.
Yeah, and this is one of those yearly things. I like that we're doing it nice and early this year. We just approved a class that would get SWIC credit. This is the second part of that. The recommendation is that we approve our partnership with SWIC, our intergovernmental agreement.
Do we have any students that are participating in the Running Start
I don't know.
right now?
Yes.
We do?
Yeah.
Good. This might be the first year, maybe last year was the first year for some of them, I don't know. Good.
All right, anybody like to make a motion to approve? Or, I'm sorry, any other questions?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. Save me, thank you. All right, Tyson made a motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Tammy seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right. Item, the motion passes. Item E is our approval for the school improvement plan.
Yeah. Yearly, we usually have a school improvement plan where we look at our test scores. We set a goal for the next one. We look at a lot of our initiatives. We weren't going to do it this year because we need to kind of reboot and restart with the state testing. The state test was not given during the year of COVID, the 2020 year, and in 2021, they gave it, but they said, don't look at the data. So for the last 2 years, we really haven't had any of the metrics that we normally have our goals linked with. And so I thought, well, we haven't, there's no way for us to come up with a goal because we're not using the data. However, we do get a grant for our middle school because of our IEP students that were identified many, many years back. As soon as they start looking at the data again, we will no longer qualify for these funds, but we do currently, and I want my funds from the state when I can get them. And so I need to submit an approved plan. And so what I did was, working with Alyssa, there was last year's plan that you approved. And then Alyssa can talk about any minor changes that she made, but really, I don't think there were anything. The key thing is I need this to submit to the state for the middle school grant that I've got. Next year, you'll see a more deeply thought-through school improvement plan. This is, I'm just gonna be honest with you, more of a procedural, bureaucratic step, so.
What's the amount of the grant?
$20,000. Enough to approve the plan and to actually write one, but,
Any questions, discussions, concerns? Then entertain a motion to approve the school improvement plan as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve the school improvement plan.
Thank you, Andrea. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Go ahead, Lisa.
I'll second.
Lisa seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, motion passes. F is the approval for the 2021 tax levy.
yeah, last month we discussed the fact that we are extending, for an amount of money more than what we got last year. Every year you ask for that more money, and it's a 4.95% in the extension. There's been absolutely no comments, concerns, or anything from the community. Me and Ms. Lambert spent many a day talking about tax levies, but that aside, there's been nobody saying that we shouldn't be doing this or that there's any problems with this. So the administration recommends the board that approves the tax levy, and I will then have it filed with the county before the end of the month.
Any questions, comments? With that, entertain a motion to approve the 2021 tax levy.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Tammy. Do I hear a second?
Second.
I second. Thank you very much. This is a money one, so we do need a roll call vote, please.
Tammy Hyde?
Yes.
Andrea Corey?
Yes.
Greg Meyer?
Yes.
Scott Milkamp?
Aye.
Lisa Schumacher?
Yes.
Tyson Surge?
Yes.
Perfect. Motion carries unanimously. All right. Item G is the approval for the first reading of the board press policy, issue 108.
There's just so many comments that come to mind. There's 59 policies that got updated. I've never this is my 15th year as a superintendent, I've never seen this thick of a press policy update. A lot of it has to do with legal changes and whatnot. There are some curricular ones in here that we'll be in deeper discussions with. 660 is the curricular content, and 7315 are high school restrictions with publications. Those are the two that we really need to answer questions for. The other ones are just kind of cursory to a certain extent, but please take a look at them. If you've got any questions, comments, or concerns, you can notify Mr. Hemken or Mr. Middlecamp, because they are the committee members, and we will be getting together before the next board meeting to review the policies. But this is the first reading, so.
With there being so many, did Barney have any issues with them, or did he not review them?
I'm sure he's reviewed them, but he's not.
But he
said
didn't call
anything to us
anything
yet.
out.
Right.
So you-
When they do these policy reviews, they have, Marty might even be on one of the committees that does that. They
Okay.
will typically get school lawyers to assist with the writing of the policies, with the IASB. So we just need to approve the first reading. And so administration recommends the first reading of these policies as presented.
Questions, comments? I fell asleep reading it 3 times. Good bedtime stories.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Tammy. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right. This one does have money involved indirectly, so I think we'll probably do a roll
And the
call
first,
on this.
first reading, you can just do
Oh, you can?
a aye. Second reading, you.
Perfect, all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Perfect. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right.
Awesome.
Thanks, Scott, appreciate it. Let's move on. All right. Items 4 is our discussion items.
I've really got no updates for the facility study. We are gonna be having the architects work on programmatic surveys, working with Mrs. Smith and Ms. Gocher as we look as to what our facilities need. I'm still engaging in conversations with the city. That's pretty much all I got. There's been no change since last month to now.
Okay. All right. Item B is our individual member comments for the board members. Anybody have anything they want to say? It's a lively bunch tonight.
I was gonna ask, have you gotten any phone calls or anything from parents since they announced the schools across the river that are going to optional mask starting in January?
I've not. No, I've gotten no phone calls about that, but yeah, I guess in January, the Missouri is gonna go with some mask optionals.
Yeah, they just listed, I think, 4 on the news last night, but there's a couple of school boards meeting tonight to vote on it.
Okay. We are still in that predicament where if we went mask optional, we would end up with we'd have to change our minds before we
We'd have a
lose our
problem.
accreditation. It would just be a due process,
Mm-hmm.
dragging of the feet, so.
Any other comments? All right, Board President's prerogative. I would like to acknowledge Kelly Landgraf. She, her 6th grade class raised over $2,000 on behalf of the school, and so I think they donated to the Columbia Caring for Our Community organization, so,
And they did it through caroling,
yeah.
which means a bunch of families got to hear the kids singing, which is always good.
That's neat.
Very cool.
I love the community involvement, so
It's nice they can get back out again.
It is.
it really is, yeah.
Starting to feel more normal.
Perfect. All right, and that's all I have. As Mr. Grody alluded to, we do have an executive session. There's no action planned for executive session, so we just need a motion to enter executive session.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Scott. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Nobody wanted executive session there for a minute. Thank you, Tyson. All in favor?
Gotta do it.
Aye.
Any opposed? I don't think so. All right, perfect. All right, we're going to go into executive session. I appreciate your involvement and participating. welcome back. We just concluded our executive session. There's no action to be taken as a result of our session. And that concludes our meeting this evening. Anybody would like to make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion.
Tammy, thank you. Second?
I'll second.
Lisa seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Perfect. All right, thank you for attending. Have a great night.